What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another build video. Today we're going to be doing a really cool scape for some fish I've actually had down here for a while. These are like really cool light-out guppies. They're going to be going in this tank you can see down here, which has currently got a load of glow light tetras in. Now I'm going to take those out and put them into this tank you can see behind me. This is my Amazon aquarium. We've already got a little collection of glow light tetra in there, so they can join that group and they'll all school together. It'll be absolutely awesome and cool. Let's do it. Click subscribe. Right, the tank's empty. It's not clean by any stretch of the imagination. All the rocks are in there. Why is this so dark? There we go. That's the filter. That all needs cleaning out. You can see all the algae. Because it's see-through, it sits right in the light, generates algae. I mean, someone didn't think this through, did they? There's the fish down here. Up you come, guys. Just gonna put these straight into the Amazon tank. New friends, guys. We got new friends. Oh, they think it's food time, so don't eat the new friends. Please don't. Are you eating them? No. Everyone is getting along great. Ideal. Population increase. Sweet. So yeah, that means that this tank's now completely empty. Just need to clean it all out. We can get started. Okay, so the tank is now super clean. Look at that, looking really fresh. But the tank behind it, you can see it down there, it's got a black background. Now this is my platy tank. There's a load of babies in there and a couple of adults as well. They're breeding so fast. But anyway, that one's black, so I'm gonna make this one clear. It should look, well, not clear because you won't see it, but I'm gonna put like a frosted background on it because I think that's gonna really suit the style of tank that I'm going for. There we go, we're all ready, set up. We can just get going. So exciting this point. Right, first of all, I need to put in a board art just to give me some shape to work from to start with, because I'm going for triangle composition, but I'm not sure how yet. I mean, it's going to be a triangle, of course, but I want a proper rough look. So that right there is just the original sort of line I'm taking. I can build up some more height on that in a minute because it doesn't actually come up very high at all. But I'm not putting proper wood hardscape in this. Well, I am, but I'm putting like detail sticks. So we don't need real high pieces. The plants are going to really be the focal point of this tank. This is going to be a nice sort of open area where we can put loads of leaflet and that kind of thing and make the whole scape look super, super natural. Should look really good. So next up, nutrient layer in the back, sand layer in the front, and then I can build some of these stones up a little bit higher. Not too high though, just a little bit. So you can see here I'm just like pouring it really thickly near the stones, and that's so that I can basically close all the gaps. I'll use my hands in a second, look. So just pile it up like that, and that side as well. I don't want too much, and then the rest can go in the foreground just like that. Ooh, shush, shush. There we go. Right, and then you can just use your hands then to tuck it all in so that it flows through the gaps and just sort of creates a little pile up next to it. And this way, when we put the sand in the background area, oh, don't knock it like I just did. Yeah, then when we put the sand in the background area in a minute, it won't all come flooding through to the foreground. You will eventually get some of that happening, but you know, that doesn't hurt for a little bit. But yeah, there we go. I'm going to put just a little bit of sand in the background as well, just to, there we go. Hey! Obviously that looks like nothing at the moment. Need to put behind that now the nutrients in which the plant's roots can grow into. For that, the trusty bucket down here of stuff. This is like a mix of, we've got aqua soil there, we've got sand, coarser gravel as well, somewhere in there. So yeah, it's just, well, most of this one, it's luck of the draw. Sometimes I get more coarse sand, sometimes I don't. But in this section from a previous setup, it's mostly sand, aqua soil. So yeah, put that in, it'll be perfect. Okay, looking good now. You don't have to lock that down as such. I could go higher if I wanted to, but I just like to cap that now with some more sand and use that to plant into. It kind of stops then it all being kicked up and just trampled all in, well, not trampled because fish don't have feet, but it stops the cories that I'm planning on putting in, working it all into the decorative area here. I mean, it won't matter too much, and some of it will happen, but you know, lock it down while we can. So some more of that on top. So that's done two good things for us. What it's done is allow us to go a bit higher on the rocks that are now getting kind of buried. That's okay, they're a good base to build up from, but it's also given us a half decent amount to sort of plant into. It's not hugely thick, so I'll have to be a little bit careful, but should be okay. If it's not, I can actually add more. I might add more actually anyway, just to be sure, because it can be sometimes fiddly trying to get your tweezers in and out again without sort of pulling it up. No, actually, what am I talking about? Look, if I come close, easily enough to get planting into. All good. So what that's done there is just given us a little bit more interest in that foreground area. In fact, I think I might actually just tilt that a little that way. Probably makes no difference to you guys. Didn't make a huge difference to me either. This one needs to go lower though. Okay, there we go. That looks a little bit more natural to me, like it could have just fallen in such a weird way. Liking that. Right, next up, details in the front, smaller stones, like more of the pebbles, just more. Alright, I'm liking that. Real sort of, I don't know, higgledy-piggledy look. Is that right? Is that a saying? People say that, right? Higgledy-piggledy. Kind of like different variations of colours, detail. I like that. It's going to look cool when I've done though, trust me. We're nowhere near finished, so don't start judging the scape yet. Lots more to come. Well, next I'm going to move on to doing the planting, and for that I'm just going to fill the whole tank up. I just like to do it that way. It can make the water dusty, but that's alright, just a quick water change and that'll be sorted. So having filled this thing up with water, I can already tell it is way too bright. Now, you can buy sort of separate dimmer switches for it, I guess, but why do that when I can just use my trusty little bit of electrical tape? I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to turn it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something here. Try and turn it down. There we go. Right. Oh, I nearly dropped it. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to get some tape and just put it along the middle section of this light, and then that should take out like a third of the light. So I'm covering up a third of the LED, so you're getting a third of the light. See how that looks after that. Right, apart from now being blinded, I can now see that so much better. Remember, the camera compensates for low light by upping everything. Even though I've turned it on the manual settings, it still tries to do that. So the ISO is bumped up because the lighting's actually reduced. So it will look the same on camera, but it's just one of those things that's hard to explain unless you're, you know, with a person, what you determine as high light, medium light. This now is about low to medium light. If I swing around to a tank like this one here, that's not how I'm seeing it, you see. So it's compensated for this one, and then I come around to this one, and this is what this one actually looks like. Right, you ready? Okay, that's the brightness of that one and how I'm seeing it. And then if I switch back to this, it makes it really, really bright because it's compensated. Oh, this is such boring information, but I just thought I'd let you know so you guys don't think he didn't even change the brightness. But yeah, if you're not using CO2 and a ton of plant mass, which we're not going to be really in this aquarium, just in that back corner, there'll be a mass in there, then you don't need high lighting. All you're doing is setting yourself up for algae. Well, more so in the initial stages anyway. Later on you can ramp it up when everything's settled in and growing really well. But to start with, we need a lower sort of light level, and that's what we now got. So it's actually the next day since I set up the tank. Now, having looked at it quite a bit more, I'm not actually liking how much of this sort of whitish sand is in the foreground. So I'm going to suck out some of it, and then I could put it in the background area and just use the one that I do want in the foreground, which is more of like a coarser stone, sand, gravel. A coarse sand, fine gravel, that's it. Yeah, this is the stuff down, oh, there's that pot. I've been looking for that everywhere. But yeah, this is the gravel I want to use. See, way more coarse than what we've currently got, and I think it'll look so much better, more natural. Remember, we're going for a naturalistic style scape, and if I start chucking in an absolute ton of this white in the foreground, I mean, what looks like that? The two don't even go together, come on. Don't get me wrong, it's got its place. If you're doing like a real contemporary style, that would look great, but we're not. I want naturalistic in this one, so out most of it comes. So there we go, that to me is a far more sort of natural look, and also it doesn't matter when you get little flecks of different colours in it then, because inevitably, I mean even there, look, I've not even touched the sand yet and some aquasoils coming through. Stuff is going to come through, it's going to go in the foreground, but now it all ties in nicely together I think, and we don't have to worry about anything like that. And then just to make sure we've got enough in the background there to plant into, I'm going to put even more of these stones all over the top there, and that really will anchor down all the plants that we want to put in. Okay, awesome. Loads in there now. Look at this from the side. Absolutely tons to plant into, nutrients at the bottom, and then grippy stuff that will just, as you push it all in, that'll all merge together and just sort of bite on the roots, so we shouldn't get any plants floating up. But as long as we take our time with it, it should be fine anyway. So now it is time to get planting. I do want to add sticks for detail, and you know, like botanicals and that as well in this one, but not to start with. To start with, I just want to get the plants in. Triangular composition with plants only. It's going to be tough to keep it sort of looking interesting, but I'm going to go for masses of variety. That's going to be the key here. Right, the first background plant I want, that alternanthera there is looking very sexy. I'm going to take a bit of that. I also wouldn't mind a little bit of the limnophilia in this murky looking tank. Plants are healthy though. And in this tank here, sorry, so you know where I am, I'm in the main second studio, Studio 2. We've got this Echinodorus, this one, that looks really cool. I think that might be a really good focal point. Yeah, I'm going with that. Oh, that is looking smart as hell. I just love how green these are. These plants here, for those of you that watch my channel, are from the pleco tank I did. They just grew so beautifully. I mean, the water's a bit murky, so it's not doing it justice, but yeah, same sort of substrate they grew in as well, and it just did great. Next up, we've got the alternanthera to put in, vividly green. It's clearly not green, vividly like pinky purple, I suppose. And then we've got some Ludwigia to go with it as well. You can see, look, where it's converted to be in the previous tank. This looks great, doesn't it? Oh, get that in. Right, I think that's really good start there. Some of the rotalas all flopped down. That's just the way it was in the previous tank, but within like a day or so, the light will pick it up so it's all upright. But I feel like we need some sort of finer, I don't know, textures. So we have got the Valsinaria at the back, but I think some hairgrass would look good as well. Not the dwarf hairgrass, not the short one, the sort of longer one. That might look really good. Just interdispersed, oh, get me, throughout. I need to fill it out more, we just need a lot more. Okay, there we go, that really is starting to get somewhere now. We're getting much more textures to it. It's really interesting, look. What I'm going for here is quite hard to describe, but imagine like a wildflower meadow. It's going to be the edge of it, and then the stream. The stream is where there won't be plants. There'll be like stuff and muck and leaf litter. Not muck, that's the wrong word. So yeah, look at that, looking great. So I think it's giving it that meadowy, flowery kind of look with a couple of punchy reds in there. We need a little bit more stuff to go in this foreground though. I think the hairgrass really has given it some more texture. Maybe I'll put a little bit more of that in, I'm not entirely sure yet. We need something to go in sort of like that gap there, and just behind these rocks as well. Crypts might work really well for that actually. Okay, we've got a strong start there, a good start, but I'm not liking the alternanthera too much, to be honest, or any of the reds there. I just think it's distracting from everything. And also, there's going to be quite a lot of colour down here with the leaf litter, so I want to keep block of green, block of stones, block of leaf litter and twigs, and I just think that will look so much better. So I'm going to take those out and replace them with something else. Right, so I've got some Rotala green there, looking good. And then some Pagostemon erectus too. Look at how nice that stuff is. That's going to look really good. Don't want too much because there's not a huge amount we need to fill in still. But yeah, that should look good in those sections. Right in amongst it all. Now it's currently very murky, of course. There's no filter running. Stirred everything up. New sand going in and everything like that. But look at that. I really like that look. And I've tried something I've not done before, which is the Siamensis 53B. Sat at that back area just gives a sort of border around the edge. The little bits of Rotala green poking through as well, giving different textures. And then the finer textures in the foreground and hints of it at the back as well. I think that looks so cool. Really simple as well. So next up, I suppose we better get some botanicals and sticks in. I'll do my sticks first. I want some sticks coming across in this direction just to continue with that triangulation format. What's it called? Triangular composition, that's the one. So yeah, I'm going to bring that out a little bit. So this is where all the whole detail area is. And with the cories that we've got sat behind here as well, zoom, there we go, the Venezuelans, they will like forage all around in that, stir it all up for it so it doesn't just like collect detritus and that. So that's going to be a great little play area. That's the playground. This can be the guppy playground and that can be the cory playground. So yeah, next up we want to put our sticks in. Now I've got a massive selection out here. So we've got loads here, but a lot of these are really sort of big and bulky. I'm looking for finer stuff, and there's some here that I collected a while ago. There we go, my hand for a sense of scale. Little twiggies, things like that, all dry. Let me snap it to prove it. Can you see that? Are we getting that? I'm too close. There we go. So look at that, it's bone dry in the middle, and it means it just won't go rotten, and it should look pretty good. Okay, so you may have noticed that I was having a little bit of trouble with some of the sticks were just floating up. That's because I completely forgot that would happen. So what you could do there is just drain the whole water level down, and then you can use cyanoacrylate super glue gel just to, you know, glue those pieces in the angles that you want. Instead of that, I just went to another tank that had these sticks in. They've been in there for months, they're already sinking, so that's perfect. Same effect really. But what I'll do now is replace the ones to take them out with like the new sticks, and then they'll sink as well. So next up is to add more botanicals. I'm talking leaf litter, and for that we've got these mini catappa leaves. Now if I just chuck those in the top there, they will float and then eventually sink. I don't want to wait for that. So the other option is just to boil them up and they'll sink straight away. So that's everything boiled and ready to go. You can put it straight in a tank, like, well, it's boiling at the moment, but you can save this tea stained water if you want, and you can put that into your setup. But I don't want to have the tea stain look in this one, so I just want the real nice effect of the leaves, but not the tanned water. And that noise you can currently hear in the background is my wife banging everything. Yeah. No. That's going in. Alright, looking good. So next thing I want to do is put the filter on, which has been mostly cleaned. I couldn't get in that bit, so I just left it. Now this one's all cycled, it's been running on a different tank, so we're all good to go straight away. I'll still be adding beneficial bacteria though anyway, it's just good practice. So what I'm going to do is actually hang this one off the side, and that way we'll get good flow going that way down the tank and sort of back around in on itself, and we won't get all the stems at the back disturbed. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that because that looks ugly as hell right there. So I'm sticking it in that gap. Yeah, there we go. That's better. And the water will actually come down forward there. Probably missed most of all the stems, so we're all good. We can keep it in that place. Problem is, if you have a load of sort of fast flowing water hitting stems, they just grow really weird. They tangle up. It just does not look good. So hopefully now the water will come down and sort of bleh. Oh, I also picked up another plant that I want to put in, and I stuck it down with this lot in here. Here it is, Vallisneria nana. So that'll look really good. Just another texture, even amongst it all, just sprouting out. Oh, awesome. Right, so that is looking good. You can see from the side here, or maybe you can see, there's a good amount of flow coming down. But the problem is, for this tank, I don't want it all hitting the bottom there, because all of the leaves are just going to go... Sorry, if we're just shaking that up. So what I like to do is take a bottle like this and cut like a little quarter of it out, so I've got a scoop. And then I slot the scoop underneath this section here, and it just makes the water then run along the surface and back around, but in a more dispersed sort of gentle way, hopefully. I've not actually tried it with leaf litter before, so it might be pointless, but I'm going to give it a go. Alright, there we go, that's what I'm talking about. So look at that rippling we get on the surface. It's all coming towards us, goes down and backwards, and you can see there we've got, you know, decent flow on the leaves as well. Hang on, are they moving? It's really hard because I'm moving, but hang on. Yeah, so from this angle, if I try and stay still, you can see that like they're sort of just gently moving, and that means that there's just enough flow. You don't want them completely still, but you don't want them getting all blown over the place as well. So that's ideal. Right, time to put in that leaf litter all in this bottom section. Oh, come on, how good does that look? I knew it was the right choice to make sure we had only like minimal bits of colour in amongst the green, you know, the rotala that we've got right there. Absolutely perfect, because we've got the oranges coming through from the leaves. Oh, it just looks good. Now one thing remaining that I think is going to work, hopefully it does. Hopefully that isn't too strong for floating plants, but over here, look, right on the tank where the beauties are that are about to go in, we have got these red root floaters. They're so red. I'm just going to chuck them in and see if they work. Well, they do appear to be working, and they're also sitting in, I think, the perfect area. I'd want them over that side, and it seems to be that obviously the water's just pushing stuff into that back corner, which is actually good because it shows that the flow's going there and around there, downwards. Everywhere is getting covered or sorted. But yeah, they look so good in there, don't they? Oh, do you know what? I think it's almost time to put the fish in. I'm just going to give it a few minutes just to let everything sort of clear up. Oh, by the way, the catappa leaves will release tannins into the water and try and make it do that sort of black water look. Now, to combat that, you can either do two things. One, put some Purigen in your filter, which just pulls all those sort of darkness or the dye out of the water. Or you could just do lots of water changes. I'll probably just do lots of water changes because it's going to need it to start with anyway. And by that point, the leaves sort of lose their tanniness. You know what I mean. Anyway, enough of all that. It's fish time. Right, that took me way longer to catch than it appeared, but here they go. We have got 5 orange Venezuelan cories going straight in. Look at that. They look fantastic. All the water temperatures matching, by the way, so you know this room's heated, so where they came from is actually the same temperature. But look, straight away, enjoying it. Zooming all over the place. Hello, buddies. Yeah, 5's a good number. I mean, obviously the more cories you can have as a group, the better. But I've often found they do really well with 5. They can do well with less numbers, to be honest, but it's just better to have more. The more you can get in a group, the better. But it's really quite nice because they're going to match the sort of, you know, the leaves colour, and they've got that orange. I've just stretched them out a bit trying to catch them, so they will cut up even more. They get that really nice sort of greeny glow to the edge of them. Okay, we'll leave them for a minute, and then I can come back to those guys. Next up is going to be the guppies. Hopefully these guys are going to be easier to catch than these were. Cories are so hard. They were going right down the bottom here, finding little gaps, and then I go near it, they go right to the bottom. Oh, it took ages, but got there in the end. Guppies tend to be easy to catch, so let's do this.
Okay, I have the guppies. They are now going in. Go on, guys. Enjoy your new home. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, loving it. Oh, they look absolutely great in here. I'm so glad that I didn't put all the colourful stuff in these plants, like, you know, the Altananthera, because it would have distracted from the guppies. So the guppies are going to have this sort of section around here. We're going to see those colours popping all the time as we are now. What's this guy doing? You all right, buddy? Yeah, he's all right. He was just a bit nervous, obviously, just plonked him straight in a new area. We've got those little, you know, the red root floaters on the top that just complement it all really, really well. They look so good. Lovely little tank. You know, there's not a huge amount of fish in there, so it's going to be more about the scape as it goes. And these guys just enjoying the area. I'll probably add some shrimp as well, but at the moment I haven't got any, so I'll get some in. I think some crystals would work really well in this setup. They'll just add some really nice interest. And cherries, to be on everything. I love all of them, so I'm really, really pleased with how it's turned out. Guppies seem to be really enjoying it as well. Look at all swimming together. Whoa! Yeah, the highest flow point is right there, so they'll just sort of swim around where they want to go, but oh, brilliant. Such a cool look.